Alright, here we go. I am already 2 videos shy of being ahead, and when I only have the opportunity to be 3 videos ahead, that means that I only now have the opportunity of being 1 video ahead. And that means that both Thursday and Friday, I have to be able to, what is it that I have to be able to do? Both Thursday and Friday, I have to be able to record 2 videos on the way there and back. And I don't think that'll be a problem. The only reason why it was a problem yesterday is because I forgot. I went to go pick up some food, and then I was supposed to set up my camera on the way back, and I didn't. I stuck in my music player, and I just jammed out all the way home, and I got halfway there, and I was like, oh shoot, I was supposed to be recording a video today, and then I didn't. So, at any rate, I think that the moral of this story is a pretty simple one, and that is that you should always count your chickens before they hatch. No, I don't know the moral of the story is. My brain is on post-work rot, and I apologize for that in advance. I think that what it comes down to, I am exceedingly excited for the projects, for the work that I have to come. I got a new song that I'm working on, and then with any luck, I just composed a whole nother song in my head on the way to work today, and I think I'm legitimately going to go down the route of releasing an album at this point. That feels pretty dang cool. I don't know what else to say other than that feels pretty dang cool. I'm sure there's probably somebody that does a print on, or press on demand, if you will, service for records, just like I do have for books. And there's a gentleman that I know who sells them through his Etsy page, and I'd be interested in knowing how he goes about doing that. I should ping him about that and ask, but first I should get a full track listing together, and it's going to be one of the wildest track listings you have ever heard. I've got house on there, I've got pop, country, disco, I'm trying to think of the other one, more like punk kind of, and just all over the place, and it's a pretty good variety, but it's an example of who I am. Like, I am a variety of things. And admittedly, that probably makes me hard to market, but that's okay. I'm okay with being hard to market. I can deal with that. I'm just excited to get home and lay down some vocals for this new track that I'm working on, and hopefully they get to be stronger vocals than the vocals I had originally, and then from there I can add some good ad-lib stuff and some background vocals and all the fun stuff. It is funny because I'm going through my head, and as I'm listening to it, I was like, ooh, we need a yeehaw there and a woohoo here and a drop the beat there. And so I think vocally it will come together as a pretty solid project, and that will hopefully add just another layer of complexity to it. I was talking about my concerns with the recording level, in that it is recorded relatively loud, and well, I guess they have people, I got people too. It's recorded relatively loud, and it appears to be clipping, but it doesn't sound obvious that it's clipping, if that makes sense. Like, I've made something obviously clip before, and it sounds kind of bad, but in terms of like putting a music mix together, if you don't notice it's clipping, is it bad? It sounds bad when I put my master, what do I call it? I have like a master track mixer that I usually use to master my tracks. But when I add that, the song sounds void of any life. Um, I'm not sure if it's the instrumentation this guy uses, but I feel like his instrumentation comes across as kind of dull anyway. It's this weird kind of, it sounds like he has like mad compression on his instruments, and he says that it's just a raw recording, and I don't know enough about recording instruments to be like, oh yeah, that's legit, but it doesn't sound like he's just recording straight from instrument to whatever his DAW is. But I'm usually able to edit it enough to bring it to life to the standards that I hope to bring to it. Safe to say I won't be using him for every track on this album. There's this little dude that I found that makes cool little Irish jig music that I hope I can team up with to make a sea shanty. And then there is, I would really like to work with this rapper guy that I really like, but I don't think I'm established enough to work with him. He's like world famous established, but he is a decently big deal. But he seems to do a lot of features and stuff too, so we'll just have to see what happens there. But that would be rad to have a hip-hop / rap song on this album. I'm just gushing. It's gonna be like my love letter to listening to music, and I'm not convinced it'll be my last album. Probably won't be my I was going to say probably won't be my first. No, it definitely will be my first, but probably won't be my last. And we'll see what happens with it. I am treating it mostly as a hobby now. Like, it would have to blow up on its own for me to be like, oh yeah, this is going to be its own thing. I'm not going to push it like I push writing or like I push Compression Man, which to the same end, like, I guess why not push it? What's stopping me from taking it to the next level? I feel the most bit of what's the word? Imposter syndrome when dealing with anything musical. I just feel like I do not actually have any musical talent because I'm all completely self-taught. I don't play any instruments, and because of all these things, I just feel like I'm a big false prophet. But I also do feel like I put out some good stuff, so I don't know. We'll just let the world decide, because the world is the ultimate decider of the quality of your art, and it's an unfortunate beast to face, but it is the underlying accepted measurement of one's success. Their ability to sell art, because art probably historically has always been one of the hardest things to sell. It's like, imagine in the Dark Ages when you had nothing and they're like, why don't you buy my painting? And it's like, I can barely afford a loaf of bread. You want me to buy a painting? It was probably not a transaction of money at the point. It was probably more a transaction of, here's a loaf of bread, you poor beggar, and I'll take this painting off your hands. And as society evolved, we could appreciate the finer things in life a little more. And you get those richy, uppity people who really just want to throw money at dumb things, and so they spend it on whatever thing they decide is art. But I say all this because music, I don't think, is nearly as profitable of an art form as it used to be. The idea was you get mega popular as a musician, and then you can break out into the world and you never have to work a day in your life. And that's just not the reality, I think, anymore. album sales are at an all-time low, and streaming services give you garbage deals. I want to be an artist that has a vision, and so I would like to stand up against the idea of streaming services having my music actually. It's counterproductive. It means the mass majority of the people probably won't like my music, or they won't. It's not that they won't like it; they just won't listen to it because it's not on the platform they use to listen to music. But I feel like we as people in general need to stand firmer on our principles than we do. Most people these days are very like water. And I shouldn't say these days. I feel like people have always been more go with the flow type than they have been to really rock the boat. But I feel like we did a lot more boat rocking in like the 1960s and earlier than we've ever done since then. We've become more and more politically correct, and we've gotten further and further away from taking actions that would or could cause a genuine change in things. And I think that is another very dangerous place where we find ourselves. And like just doing little things as an artist, like being able to say, you know what, no, my music's not going to be on a streaming service. If you want to listen to it, you can buy the CD, or you can buy the cassette, or you can buy the album, or you can buy the digital album, what have you. But the reality of it is like that's you have to be okay with that. You have to be willing to make that stand and stand that stand. And like Prince kept his music off of any digital platform forever until he passed away. Then as soon as he passed away, it was available digitally everywhere, because whoever took over his estate only cared about the money they could make. And that's the reality of things. A true fan would never buy a digital Prince album because they knew how much he loathed the concept of it. But for everybody else in the world, they just buy the digital albums and they don't care. And it's honestly unfortunate. But hopefully I reach a place where I can be an artist who stands their ground against the things that they're against, and they can make a difference in the world. Everybody applauded Brandon Sanderson when he stood up to Audible and put all his stuff on literally any other audiobook platform, because Audible just absolutely squeezes the life out of their creators, especially small-time creators. You spend so much money, unless you're doing the audiobook yourself, you spend a lot of money getting it narrated, and then when you get it up on Audible, it's a 40-60 split. You get 40, they get 60. That is absolutely insane. And nowhere in any other medium do they have a profit split where the creator is making or less than the distributor. That's like wildly unheard of, and it's honestly highway robbery. And so Brandon Sanderson was like, nah, I ain't doing that. He's like, I don't support that. And like, he's a big enough author that he can stand up to these people and say, nah, I'm not doing that. But like, most of us don't have that luxury. So as awesome as it is that he stands up to him and does that, like, we as the little people are like, wow, he's so cool. But in reality, we know that we can't do that. We're lucky to even be selected by Audible to be on their platform, much less make money on it. So it's just all very interesting, and it's fun seeing it all come together. The passions that I have, and where they started and where they wound up, where they will wind up, and continuing to follow that through until eventually one day it's done. Hopefully I've reached the level of success that I wanted to reach, and I can look up in the morning and be like, dang, like, I made it. I finally made it. This is what life was meant to be. And part of me thinks that there'll always be something on the horizon that I'm striving for, and that's fine. I think that having clear goals is a good thing. I just hope that I can finally reach a point where I can appreciate where I am. I have that problem now where I'm so focused on getting my time back and getting out of the grind that I lose sight of just how fortunate I am in my current situation. And so I have to step back and be like, look, this what you're doing is good. You're doing a good thing. And you're fine. Yes, you want your time back, and hopefully one day you'll get it back. But until then, you just gotta hold on. And I think that will be an exciting time. And it's nice to sit back and dream. But when you realize that the things that you were sitting back and dreaming about once upon a time have now become a reality, that is a whole entirely different feeling. And I don't know that it has become reality to me yet. My sit back and dream has always been, to some extent, to have creative success, which I still have yet to master. But to another extent, I've always wanted to live a life where finances do not have a hold on me. They do not dictate my existence. And I have done just that. And sometimes I can look back at it and be like, this is pretty good. But other times I'm just like, no, this isn't working for me. So at any rate, we'll see what happens. We'll see what we've got, what we can do, and with whom we can do those things. And until something different or better comes along, I'm just going to keep on keeping on and hope that at the end of the day, I can wake up one day and be like, look what I've done. I have done it. And that's honestly exciting. I am very excited about my ability to get things done and to put things together and to hopefully be able to start marching in the right direction. As I make more and more of these songs and I get better and better at making songs, I do have that dream every now and again. I was like, this is going to be the one that blows up and the whole world cares about. And even if it's just a one-hit wonder, to think that like 20 years from now, Gen Alphas will be like, oh man, you remember that song? That song was so good. It was the best. And it's wild to think that that would be the generation of people that would be probably carrying my music into success, because you always hope to shoot for the generation that you're in. Like, you want people your age to dig your music and think that it's great, but the reality is a lot of people, especially my age, have already made their decision on what music's good and what music's crap, and they're not gonna open it up to new stuff all that often. And because I think about like musicians quite frequently, it's not uncommon for a musician to not really get popular until they're in their 30s or so. And I think about that a lot, and I'm like, how is that like the case? Because like the people listening to you are usually like the youth of the nation. The teenagers and young adults of the world are the ones who dictate whether or not you're hip, and they're out here listening and jamming out to somebody who's almost got 10 years on them. And it's wild to me that it works like that, but it really does. There's just so many musicians who have not gotten popular until their 30s. And so like me being nearly 30 and still attempting to do creative things doesn't feel all that bad, though I can't help but feel like the time is ticking away. Like, you ain't got forever to do this. Eventually you just accept the fact that you're a working adult and that's where you're going to be the rest of your life. But I, for one, don't want that. So we'll see. I don't know if I can make it, or if I can fold, or if I'll just keep creating to an audience of nobody for the rest of eternity. But at least, if nothing else, it's a fun little hobby of mine. And I continue to hope that the world will eventually catch on. And that's really all I can do. And it's all I will do, that's for sure. Until eventually the time passes and I just can't go on anymore. Or I've gone as far as I want to go and I'm satisfied with where I am, which would be the more hopeful result here. I don't honestly know. It's an interesting concept to think about and to try and understand and to better understand, and hopefully someday actually get to that point where I do understand it and I know what's going on and how to get about. Oops. I don't remember whose turn it was. Sorry if I jumped the gun. But at any rate, we're almost there. I feel like this is a long one. This is 20 minutes long, so yeah, it's longer than normal. I get caught in that after-work traffic, and it just kills my time. Ugh, I need to do something with my yard. It looks ugly. Ugly! Anyway, made it home. Thanks for bearing with me. If you bared with it this long, go and have yourself a nice rest of your day.